Hello, everyone. This is Steve from A Better Life. This podcast is brought to you by our sponsors, Premium Botanical. They are the makers of Herbal Spectrum, which is a full-spectrum hemp-based CBD. They make salves, liquids, and they have a great mixed berry gummy. You can check them out at www.mypbcbd.com. Now our podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 2.
Welcome back.
Of A Better Life with George and Steve.
I am back from a quick trip to Asia. I had a little business and a little pleasure, both mixed. I'm back recharged and couldn't be happier.
I bet.
I don't know. Well, what did I miss? What did I miss here while I was gone?
Boy, I'd like to know the answer to that question. I don't think you really missed much. I did go to a football party at Cigar Republic in Elmsford. And
the championships, the divisional championships.
Divisional championships. Okay. And the games were amazing. It was fun to watch. Smoked a couple cigars.
Oh, perfect.
He ordered in a lot of food from Castelletto, and we've talked about that before. And I have to tell you, Castelletto did like 5 different pastas and different dishes, and they did heroes. They had the cold hero. They did sausage and peppers, and it was great because he made the sausage like in patties, so it sat flat, and it was like a 10-foot roll, and it was like with red peppers, not green peppers, and really good onions, and he did a great job, and he did this pasta. What's the pasta? I never eat it because it's a little too creamy for me, but I had some. It was so good. Pasta.
Is it an Alfredo?
No. It's a cream, but it has bacon in it. And
you're probably thinking carbonara?
Carbonara. He made carbonara, and it was amazing. And I was eating it, and I was like, I thought it was going to explode.
Traditionally, no cream. But
I know.
A lot of people
put cream. I'm not sure it had cream
policy,
in it, but
right?
Maybe just the egg or whatever makes it creamy. But
it's deceivingly heavy. You eat that, you have the fat from the guanciale, and then the eggs. There's a lot of eggs, and then the cheese and all that's emulsified and just worked in with the guanciale fat. It's pretty heavy.
So if you really want classic Italian food, really good, go to Castelletto in Elmsford.
I'm there.
We should really go. I told you he wants us to do a live podcast.
That'd be fantastic.
And he says, I'll just keep bringing you food.
We just talk about it.
We just talk about it. Eat and talk about it.
I can do that.
I know we can. So my friend Paulie, and the best guy in the world. That's all I can tell you. I wouldn't piss him off, but he's the best. He's got muscles on muscles. He has hands like sledgehammers, and he works more than anyone, a human being I've ever met in my life, really. More than my dad.
There are those guys out there that just go.
It's a big restaurant. They have tons of tables. They do great parties. They're takeout. If I was going to have a party at my house and do takeout, I would do Castelletto. I mean, he does. I'm a member of the American Italian Club in Elmsford as well, and he does the catering for there. So, and we have a full-blown commercial kitchen, and he does all the catering. Everything always turns out to be absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. The pastas, the whatever, the bread was great. He did homemade potato chips. They were amazing.
Really?
And then one of the guys, I did ribs. So my challenge for this weekend was to see if I could adapt my barbecue style for my smoker to an oven. And I know that's incredibly difficult. But I succeeded because 10 people told me that they were competition grade ribs. I did 4 full racks, and there weren't that many people there. 4 full racks, and they were gone in less than 20 minutes. So
it probably didn't have the smokiness, but I bet you the tenderness was spot on.
Correct. And when I made my homemade barbecue sauce, I added habanero.
Okay.
And it had a kick
I bet
to it.
That was a home run.
It had a kick to it. And then, as George knows, I had 2 extra racks that I couldn't fit in the oven. And so I made a sauce and put it in that and made a pork ragu.
And I benefited from that just 30 minutes ago. It was fantastic. Very good.
So Castelletto, they always have parties. You go, and the parties are great. I like to have business lunches there. If it isn't the stuffed zucchini flowers we show videos, you see them on Facebook or on Instagram where they're making homemade gnocchis, whatever. My grandmother said it one way, my mother said it another, my sister said it a third. So it's just an amazing place. If you really want to have an old-style Italian meal where you know you're going to get it, they have old-style waiters. They do great food, and they care about you being there. So I recommend it highly. It's one of my favorite places to go. Having said that, yeah, we had pasta tonight with the pork ragu, and it was really good. The sauce gets absorbed by everything. You end up with no sauce at the end of the night. When I'm trying to cook, you try to serve and put a little sauce on the pasta, the sauce is all gone. But the ribs were great.
And the style of sauce that you make is extremely rich, and it's meaty without meat. So it's just so reduced. It's chunky. It's so much flavor, all condensed and reduced. It's very nice.
It's interesting. So I did it old school. You take the ribs, and you put a little oil in a pot, and then you brown every side of the ribs. Yep. Then you pull them out, and then in that flavor,
right,
you do a little mirepoix, and then I did a little tomato sauce, a little tomatoes, and then cooked that for a little bit and got some flavor. And then I used the immersion blender and got it real thin. And then once that was thin, then I added in more tomatoes. So there were some that were chunky, full tomatoes. Okay. And then I put the ribs back in and let it cook for a few hours.
Tender, fall off the bone, flavorful, moist, meaty. They were perfect.
The only trick, and you probably could take some of the pork fat out before you put the tomatoes in, but I like the flavor from the fat. The only trick is that you should really take it and put it in the refrigerator overnight before you serve it, because all that pork fat comes to the top and it all hardens, and you could just skim it all off.
So sometimes I think the next day pork rib is better. For some reason, after you make it, you have that glistening layer of pork fat. You chill it. Now it comes off like glass. And then when you reheat it on the stove the next day, I just feel that gentle cooling of the protein and then chilled overnight and now reheated gently. That process of letting the muscle fibers lessen the tension and then reheated the next day, it just seems to taste a lot better.
It's great. And pork has so much fat in it, to be honest, that you really can never dry it out. It's almost impossible.
It was good stuff.
So it was good. And I'm really full at the moment. I know you just went to Japan, and I know that one of our other conversations was about 7-Eleven. Did you end up going to any of those while you were there?
Oh, absolutely. The conversation we had with Nicole and Ryan and the egg sandwich and whatnot, 7-Eleven it's heaven. It's and you would never say that about the 7-Eleven here in the States, but it's just a whole different animal over there. The convenient factor, the freshness factor, it's just engineered with purpose, and it's just fantastic. But this trip, I went to do a little bit more research on a project I'm working on. And in between visiting some stores and talking to some people in the industry and whatnot, I was introduced to, I guess, more everyday life in Tokyo. My girlfriend took me to this amazing boulangerie, the bread store, right? In the morning, you wake up, you walk down the neighborhood, and you're able to smell your way through the streets, right? So you follow the butter.
Sounds like you're in Paris.
Yeah. And you know what? I thought I was, because biting into the freshly made croissant it woke me up. What have I been eating all this time? And I've heard people say it's not a proper croissant unless it's a mess on your shirt. It just crackles like crystal and it flakes apart. And surely this croissant was just that. You bit into it as gently as you could to make sure you don't make a mess of yourself. And you look down, and there's about 20,000 pieces of beautiful croissant shrapnel just covering your belly and chest. And you just smile because, wow, that was that good. You bite into it. It's crunchy on the outside, nice and fluffy, airy in the middle, and it's the aroma of butter just wafts through your palate.
There's a place in Southampton. It's a bakery, and I don't particularly care for it. And they do, but everybody loves it. Everybody not Southampton. I'm sorry, in West Hampton. Everybody loves it. I've never been crazy about it, but they have some good stuff. One of the things they make different is croissants. They make them. Then they stuff them with jelly. Then they deep fry them.
Oh my goodness!
And then they cover them with sugar.
Okay.
You want to talk about something that knocks your tail off?
Wow.
Listen, if you have an issue with sugar, this is not the thing you should be eating first thing in the morning.
That will throw your system off track.
And they're really unbelievable. I remember going there with my ex-father-in-law who passed away. And we went in there, we bought 6 of them, and we sat and ate all 6.
Did you have milk with it, or?
I think I had a cappuccino. Okay. He never could do anything small, so everything was overstated. What are you doing? Just have some. You're fine. It'll be good.
He was the original extra.
I told you. It was always +1 with him.
Oh, perfect.
Always.
Yeah. So Japan, the weather probably in the 50s, low 50s, high 40s. So you can get away with a little vest, a little sweater, and. Every day I walked. I took public transportation. The train, the metro system is second to none. It's affordable. It's efficient. It's on time, clean, safe. You do that, and then you walk a few steps, crossing avenues and a few. So on average, I think I walked 11 to 12,000 steps a day. So it was great. Guilt-free eating.
Nice.
Yeah. Here and there.
Do you have any good sushi when you were there?
There was one meal that we went to, what they consider, I don't want to say fast food. It's not fast food sushi, but it's more
street food.
It's called sushi zanmai. And for those of you who've been to Japan and have seen the president of the company on New Year's, his gimmick, it's safe to say it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. His gimmick is he buys the most expensive tuna on New Year's Day at Tsukiji Market. And it's
a good gimmick.
He promotes it and says, this is what we're serving at my place. Come to my place. We're getting the best tuna of all Japan and start your year right. And he's made a name for himself. We looked it up. He has 40 restaurants throughout Tokyo, just Tokyo. And I think the bill came out to maybe $100 for 2 of us, and we ate 2 platters of sushi, this delicious crab miso soup. We had appetizers, we had tempura as well, and we were full, and it was quite good. And today here in Mamaroneck, you go and get sushi easily for $50 a head. You're walking out with maybe 8 pieces of nigiri and a roll and a soup and a beverage, maybe, if you're lucky.
And it's ordinary.
And it's, let's put it this way. 7-Eleven in Japan would run laps over them.
Calm down. I know it's true.
That's the reality of, and it's potato, right? You can't compare, but I do, because I try to manage expectations.
I haven't had good sushi in a while.
Because there are none.
I know that.
I kid. There are plenty in the city. But you know what? It is expensive.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine was asking me for some recommendations, and I went through my ordinary list. I looked them up on Google, and they've increased 2x, maybe 3x. This one place that I knew was pretty high end, top tier, definitely. They used to charge $175 a head for the omakase. It is now $325. And there are quite literally 40 of those restaurants in Manhattan that are willing to charge $300 plus a head. I can't do that. Who in the right mind is paying? I guess plenty of people are, because they're open and thriving, but I don't see this being sustainable. I don't think it's a little baffling.
I used to like that place in Rye on the upstairs. I don't know the name of it.
Fugama?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
It's in the north side by the steak place.
Yep. Across the street.
Yeah. And I used to like it there.
And then, so I took my kids there thinking, oh, nice. Ramen, some sushi, maybe some gyoza. Boom. $200 for lunch. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I end up making it at home. I go to the Daido Japanese grocery store in White Plains, which is fantastic. There's sushi, sashimi section. Couldn't be fresher.
Right there on the by.
There's a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, right after the Dunkin' Donuts.
Right, there's a split off, right? Bloomingdale's on the other side. And yeah, Daido is fantastic. There's another Japanese place called Oishimbo in Harrison. That's probably 1/3 the size of Daido, and they have more Japanese fare. But I think Daido is the place to go if you're looking for some quick Japanese ingredients to make.
And my offices are right around the corner from there. And I used to live in White Plains for at least 15 years.
They have lunch boxes.
Never been there.
They have lunch boxes ready to go by 11 o'clock. You go there, it's $9, and you get basically rice, some pickled vegetables, a protein, and a couple appetizers shoved into that bento box. Quite convenient. Yeah, I go there maybe once.
Then there was a place in Greenwich by the bottom by the Apple store, like across the street.
Not a grocery store, right? But a restaurant.
A restaurant.
Yeah. There's a few Japanese restaurants in Greenwich.
That place was pretty good, too. The bartender was really good. He made great drinks, but I don't drink, so it didn't really help. But it was nice to watch.
Yeah, Greenwich food, very good. I go to Miku when I feel like I have a few shekels to spare.
Where's that?
It's Greenwich down the avenue. And then I think their sister restaurant's what you're referring to, Hinoki, across from Apple Store. I think that's Hinoki. And that they do a great job.
Go in, there's like stairs.
You go down, and then the big bar is on your left. Right? Yeah.
There's not a lot of tables. It's more bar than tables.
Right. And the same owners just opened up this Chinese restaurant. I can't remember the name, but a lot of people are talking about it. They do a lot of more glitz and glamour dishes. You know what? I always give restaurants 2-3 months before going in and really putting a critique mark on it. It takes time to get the kinks out. Restaurants, there's just so many factors that create havoc for owners and for operators, and you just have to iron it out. So it's tough. It's a tough business. It's a hospitality business. I think nerves or patience is often forgotten, but yeah, it can't be too hard on brand new restaurants that just open. It's everyone's doing their best, and it's hard to get everyone in sync. Create that team.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was someplace else I ate, and it was really good. I ate in Mamaroneck last night, and the place was good. I know you're not that crazy about the Nona, whatever it is.
It's gotten a lot better. I'll be honest. There was a time where I thought, boy, this place is not going to make it. They had an opening. Their opening chef.
What's the name of the place?
Nona Corolla. It's right on the corner, right?
Right on the corner.
East Prospect and the Avenue.
Very good.
So I think they really worked at it, and they got a new kitchen crew. I think this is probably their 3rd or 4th kitchen brigade that's gone through, and I think they figured out what the market, what the audience wanted, and they're serving it, and they look pretty busy.
I don't think it's ridiculously expensive. I think it was, so I had a seafood appetizer, and it was a half of lobster. It looked a little bigger than a 1.5 pound or something, maybe right around 1.5 pounds. It wasn't 1 1/4. I would say it was 1.5, and it also had the claw. So they had to put the claw meat on where the tail was. Okay. So that was nice. And then it had chilled. And then it had 2 big shrimp, and then it had a leaf of lettuce full of crab meat.
Wow.
Jumbo crab meat.
Okay.
It was great. And then for a main course, I had the New York strip, and it was really nothing like any New York strip I've ever seen. It was big. It was thick. And it was drenched in mushrooms and came with some vegetables and a couple of potatoes. And I thought it was a great deal all the way around. That's talking about numbers, but I thought it was really good. Had a couple of cappuccinos. They make some crazy drinks. I saw people having them, other than the woman sitting next to me with enough perfume on it to help fight World War I. It was fantastic. You can't help that. I had an allergy attack just sitting there. I was with my friend Kevin, and George knows Kevin, and I was dying. My allergies were off the charts. Well, but it was you guys had a
good time. That's all it counts.
Absolutely.
Good meal, good butt company. That's the best.
It was good. It wasn't that busy, but it was good. And everybody waits on your hand and foot, no matter what you want.
You guys sat at the bar?
No, I wanted to sit at the bar, but he wanted to get at a table, so we sat at a nice table. He had a glass of wine. He had some kind of weirdo drinks and stuff.
Kevin likes to eat. I like that about him. No, he likes to eat.
Oh, he definitely likes to eat. He had the seafood platter. He had a veal cutlet parmesan with an order of rigatoni bolognese.
Come on. Really? All right.
He took some of it home. I took half my steak home.
Okay.
And he took some of it home, too.
Any dessert?
Biscotti.
Biscotti and cappuccino?
Yeah. It was great. I loved it. I would go back there in a minute. You know why? Food's good. It's easy. And it's not really stupid expensive.
Okay. Well,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could walk up the street and walk in and get in. And it's beautiful inside. It's
It is
nice.
beautiful.
People fall all over you.
yeah.
I really like it. And it's up the street from the cigar lounge we go to. So you can wander in, eat, and then just walk over and have a cigar.
Location.
I love that about that place.
Oh, boy. Cigars. I didn't smoke. So when I travel, go overseas, I often just stop smoking. I don't know. You have to carve out time to smoke, right? And when you're busy, you just either want to catch up on sleep or get to work. But coming back, I was a little jet lagged. I went to the lounge the next day and sat down, and Josh, the proprietor at Doc James, he pointed me to the Rocky Patel. What is it?
Is that the anniversary something or other?
Oh man, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. The DSR or something. Anyways, there's 2 ring gauges that he carries. One's like a 54, the other's a 60. I had the 60, and you know what it reminded me of? And this is Rocky Patels have a very distinct Nicaraguan type of flavor profile. It's not, if you enjoy, let's say, Davidoffs or Fuentes, you're not a Rocky guy. And if you're a Rocky guy, you're opposite, right? You're not a Fuente and a Davidoff guy. But this DRS, I think that's what it's called, the Rocky Patel DRS, it's a Nicaraguan blend. And it reminded me of the Davidoff's 10-year Nicaraguan blend. Now, Davidoff's Nicaraguan blend, 10-year anniversary, I think is like a $45 stick. And this Rocky is maybe high 20s.
Really?
Granted, it didn't start off the same, but probably a third in, definitely by a halfway through, it changes. And that's the thing about cigars. Cigars have this ability to change flavor profile 1/3.
I'm looking for it.
Where was I? Yeah, it changes flavor profile every third or so. It's quite nice to see how it metamorphosizes. The funny thing that you look at cigar etiquette, like books or pamphlets written maybe 50 years ago or even longer, and they would say the proper gentleman will smoke 1/4 of the cigar and put it out. And anyone who smokes cigars knows that the best part is at the end, the very tip. And when you have a great cigar, I mean, you do not want to let that thing go. And in the end, but by the time it starts burning your fingers, you got to put it out.
Last night I had the Davidoff Winston Churchill late hour after that
Great
meal.
stick.
It was fantastic. The Churchill size, of course, and really just a phenomenal cigar. It lasts a long time. I don't know if it's full or medium to full bodied, but it is.
The late hour, definitely. I think Davidoff uses like a 5-dot system, and I think that's a 4-dot.
Really?
Yeah, so it's on their heavier side. But Davidoffs are generally on the lighter side on the whole cigar spectrum, so it's probably medium body on a
Maybe.
cigar aggregate.
It was great.
Delicious, huh? And great after a steak.
It was great.
I would think that would be like a top 5 for me, for sure, if I had to pick
It definitely was.
what cigar.
It definitely was good.
So I often see you smoke Davidoffs. What other cigars? Do you go with Fuentes? Do you go with Plasencia?
So I like a
Plasencia.
Plasencia.
That's so funny. Everyone at the lounge has a different way of pronouncing it, and it just cracks everyone up.
I love the sun-grown, the VGS.
Those are the Ashtons.
Ashton VGS. I really like that. They make all different sizes. There's so many of the Davidoffs I love. I'm not really a Padron guy, but there are some other ones I like. I love the Lanceros by Oscar Baleef, but the Maduro.
The Maduros, okay.
Very good. That's really it.
What about Oliva, Liga Privadas?
I do like Liga Privadas. I do Olivia. I like there's a few of the newer ones, the special edition Olivas I like.
Yeah, the Milanio.
Yeah, the Milanio, but there's like a special edition now. That's pretty good. But I'd rather have a Davidoff.
I think that's the gold standard, right? And Davidoff is like the Mercedes-Benz of cigars. The quality control, the consistency, just everything is done with a lot of care. But they're pricey. I gotta admit, they're pricey.
They are, and they've gotten worse.
I save them for special occasions. That can't be an everyday cigar for me.
I think I have a couple right in that humidor right there.
Geez.
We may have to take it with us when we're done. It's funny because I've also had a couple of the what's the ones with the X on it?
Opus X.
Yeah, I'm
Fuentes.
a little tired. So I got a whole bunch the other day. I don't think they're in there. I think I left them wherever I was. And I really had some nice Opus X's. I don't like them all, but some of them are really good. And it's the really ones that are more rare that are really good. And they're expensive. So whenever you can get them on sale, and there was a discount the other day, like halftime, 20% off.
Oh, wow.
And I bought a few. And bought a few Churchill, too.
Good for you, man. A good cigar, good time spent with friends, chatting. That's what it's all about. Are you into cigar accessories? Lighters, cutters, cases, humidors?
There is a couple lighters I really want. I have 2 humidors, one I don't use. This is my first humidor that's sitting next to you on this table. I don't know how long it's been here, but it's been here for a long time. For some reason, it's never found its place back to where it went. And I don't know how many it fits, maybe 50? Maybe a little less. I don't know. I try not to buy a lot of cigars. I have some at Doc James. I have some at Cigar Republic. I have some at People's Cigar Republic, and I have some at Mom's. I keep them there. And here's my problem. When I walk into a place, I say to myself, you know what? I want to smoke what I want to smoke. To buy them ahead of time, it's almost a waste of my time because I can have a humidor full of cigars, and I feel like trying something a little different, and I'm going to go in and buy it anyway. So, I don't smoke enough to really keep a whole lot around. I know guys that smoke 4, 6 a day. I'm lucky if I smoke that in a month.
You smoke when you play golf?
I do, and I lose a cigar almost every hole.
You forget to pick it up again once you put it down to hit your ball?
I lay it on the cart and drive away.
Oh. And then you have to find another one, light it up, and all right.
I usually get a little cheaper cigar when I play golf. I keep a couple really nice ones, or I play with Joe, and Joe's girlfriend is a cigar rep, so he always brings a whole bag full.
Yeah. Yeah, and Joe loves golf. I met Joe maybe 3 years ago, and our love of cigars and love of golf got us talking and chit-chatting and just nerding out on getting golf club fitted and then talking about the little nuances between this cigar and that cigar. But I haven't seen him in a while. I hope he's doing okay.
He is. He's not a member of Doc James anymore.
Oh, he isn't?
No, he found that it went through that time when it was a little bit more smoky than it used to be. It's not as much anymore, and he just left.
I see. Okay. Maybe I'll reach out to him, give him a little text later.
Yeah. Because I talked to him about his girlfriend because my friend opened that place in Terrytown. And I'm trying to make some introductions for reps and stuff. Oh, nice. So we'll see what happens with that. There's other businesses and competing and all this other crap. It's so annoying.
I've always been in sales. I'm always either repping food or in beverage, but I wonder what it's like to be a sales rep for cigars. It's never work if you love what you do, but sometimes if you cross streams and you start doing things...
Unless you were getting paid a lot of money, I think it would be annoying because you clothes and smell all the time.
Constantly. Visiting clients, and you just reek of secondhand smoke.
And you have to wine and dine people because the implication is that this is a sophisticated...
gentlemanly activity. What is it really? It's just us spending time chit-chatting.
it's just something to do like everything else. So I posted old pictures of my barbecue on Facebook yesterday.
That always gets people to perk up and write back. You get replies quickly.
I must have got 50 replies before the end of the day.
You're serious about your barbecue.
Where can I meet you?
Yeah.
Can I come over? Can you make me some? Can you cook at my party? Can you do this? Can you do that? And my answer is always no. But I'm going to start cooking, I think, again. But on a more...
I feel like once the weather gets a little warmer, you have that itch.
I do have that itch again, but I don't... The time is the issue. The time is the issue for me. Between my regular business,
right,
my monitor business, the CBD business, this podcast, surprisingly enough, takes up a little bit of time. Just editing it when it gets. Sometimes I'm out there 2, 3 o'clock in the morning editing it.
And then your obsession with your new collections.
Oh, my phonographs.
Which is now peaking at what number?
16.
That's fantastic.
So I just bought one of the replicas made of the original. I told you this?
Yes.
The original
Edison. Right?
Edison phonograph, the very first one. And it was made from the original blueprints with authorization from whoever. Matter of fact, I haven't picked it up yet. But that's what my inclination of what it is. It may even be better than that. But for now, it's one of the original replicas made directly from the blueprints that came from Edison that were borrowed or bought from the Edison Museum in New Jersey. I've also come to know that the one that I had purchased, I believe, is the exact one that is sitting in the Smithsonian in the Edison exhibit.
Jeez.
I'm very excited from that. I am excited because I found a former collector, but I'm not happy about the circumstances. This collector is a pretty well-known collector, and he just passed away, unfortunately. And his wife is in the position of going through and selling off everything they have, but she wants it only to go to collectors. Mm-hmm. And I've built a relationship with her, and she knows I'm not looking to sell anything. I'm looking to complete and tell a story. I'm building a little museum in my back room there that's soon to be, it was Studio 3J. It's soon to be the museum studio. I have a few good pieces, and hopefully I have some average pieces and a whole bunch of good pieces. They all work really well because I've all had them restored. But I can't believe how much I enjoy it, whether it's playing it, whether it's searching for it, whether it's buying the cylinders or the 78s or now...
You're so happy.
The Edison diamond discs.
Saturday morning, you could go over to one of these standalones and you start playing, and you'll take a picture or you'll send me a clip. And I was like, it's in his happy zone.
The Edison diamond disc that I drove all the way up to Nowheresville in Connecticut to buy is absolutely my favorite, I think, out of the bunch. Except for one you haven't seen yet. But that one's really beautiful too. It just has an amazing sound. It looks great. This one, the wood is perfect. It's been restored mechanically, at least greased, cleaned, spring redone, and everything I have is nothing's electric. Everything is wind up.
Wow. Do they have to replace the spring, or is that
They do get replaced, but not necessarily all of them had to be replaced. But you will break one from time to time. And what's really amazing about them, and I've probably said this 100 times, is these things are 120, 130 years old, and they work. They work real well.
That's
it's
incredible.
Shocking. But soon I'll post. I had to clean out all the stuff in the back room, and I'm almost there. I'm hoping to finish it this weekend, and I bought some new tables, and I'm going to start organizing and hopefully take all my 78s and cylinders out of the boxes they're in and start lining them up and organizing them and create a database of them and just preserving the origins of sound. Think about the newest phonographs that I haven't been brought in yet. Imagine that a bunch of men sat around and put tinfoil. It's called a tinfoil phonograph. And they put tinfoil on a spindle and spoke into it and played it back and heard their voice for the first time Never has anyone heard a recorded voice before.
What was the sentence?
Mary had a little lamb.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I'm addicted.
And I wouldn't say addicted, but I'm a big F1 fan ever since the Netflix Drive to Survive came out a few years ago. And during my meeting today, I just happened to glance down at my watch because it gave me a little buzz. And it's Steve sending me this link. Breaking news. Lewis Hamilton departs from Mercedes, joins Scuderia Ferrari. Now that's earth-shattering, guys.
Earth-shattering. When I read it, I was stunned, and I'm not even an F1 guy.
I said Lewis Hamilton, the most decorated F1 driver in the history of the sport, shatters Michael Schumacher's record by a mile. He has, I think, is it over 100 F1 race victories? That's insane. You win one Grand Prix and you can die happy. You win one championship and you are a legend. And this man has 8 championships. Insane. Anyways, his move to Ferrari, I just text back really quickly. Swan song. What else is it? He's shattered every record. He's driven those cars, which are basically spaceships on wheels, to the nth degree. Today, his Mercedes just can't compete well enough with Red Bull, powered by Honda, but they will be powered by Ford, I think, in 2026. And Ferrari is doing a really good job staying in second place with, McLaren right behind on their coattails. So Mercedes has been a little bit sleepy, and Lewis is a champion. He's a competitor. He's a fierce fighter, and he wants to win. And he can't win with the current machinery. And I think it's also every child who grows up to become a race car driver probably has somewhere in their hearts of hearts wanting to be a driver for Ferrari. And what's that saying? The Enzo Ferrari says, you ask any boy to draw you a race car, it's going to be a red Ferrari. I mean, that's ingrained in their heads. Every boy in the world. And
the new movie's out. I haven't bought it yet to watch it.
I mean, there's so many versions, and this new one looks really good.
Yeah. And then there's the one about Carroll Shelby.
Okay.
That's from a few years ago where he takes on Ferrari.
All right, so that's a Le Mans. That's a Le Mans race.
Oh, it is?
And Ferrari in Le Mans and Ferrari in F1, both incredible stories. But the Shelby is the Shelby
and
Cobra.
Steve McQueen's all that. That's all Le Mans, right?
Yeah, that's right. So that a little earlier than my age, my period, but he looks like one of those guys that's just legendary and never goes out of style, like a Paul Newman.
Yeah, they both were. They both were real serious race car drivers.
Yeah.
And Steve McQueen used to race motorcycles too. And that's how in The Great Escape, he introduced the motorcycle. That was all his idea. And then he jumps the fence and all the thing trying to get away from the true story of a German prison camp escape.
So my correction, Hamilton has 7 world titles, not 8, 7. And he has 103 race victories.
What's the you have any idea who the next person is on that list?
I think Schumacher has 6. But I think Schumacher also, instead of 103 victories, I think he's 82 victories.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And I think Max Verstappen for Red Bull, he already has, I think, 30 victories in the last 2 years. So it's projected that he's the next.
These guys make millions and millions of dollars, right?
Lewis Hamilton's contract for Mercedes-Benz this year is $50 million. I think Verstappen is going to clear $75 million.
They're going to be billionaires.
There's 20 racers right now because there's 10 teams. Each team has 2 cars, 2 drivers. I guess the least paid guy, I think, makes like $1.5 million. So there is a huge disparity, right? The previous champ is pulling in $75 million a year. That just goes to show that that's how much revenue these teams can generate with a victory.
Right. And the cars cost $100 million?
No. Estimated $6 million. But the team is, $1 billion.
Right, because everybody that does it is the best. Everybody in the pit is the best.
Right.
Every
the guy
designer,
who changes the jack to take the tire off is the best. Yeah, kind of cool. There was an interview with Hamilton. He was talking about the team behind him. So he is the number one Mercedes driver. Then he has George Russell as his wingman, number 2 guy. And then there's a fleet, there's an army of 1,600 employees working on those 2 cars. Whether it's back at home at the headquarters, working on the engineering with computer, in the garage, all sorts of things. Procurement of pieces, the engineers, the mechanics, and...
Because it's not like you go down to the auto parts store and get parts. All those parts are all manufactured custom. So you need designers, you need fabricators, you need people that check the fabricators. You
have aerospace engineers in wind tunnels working on your aerodynamics. You have guys understanding thermal dynamics, because once the tires get to a certain temperature, how much friction it's creating. It's so amazing. Out of a 1.6 liter engine, it's a 6-cylinder and turbo and electric. The thing screams like 900, 1,100 horsepower. And
it's like a drag racer.
But it runs on 1 tank of gas the whole race.
Right.
50 laps, 1 tank of gas. Interesting, right?
And dangerous.
That, goes without saying. That Grosjean guy, right? He lit up on fire. Lucky to be alive. It's a miracle. And modern day technology really, 100% it saved his life.
Oh, fire safety things are unbelievable. Today. No.
Oh, I'm happy I snuck in a little F1 today.
Me too. You want to call it?
Yeah, that's a good episode. Thanks for listening, guys.
It was. Thanks. We're going to bring you something special next time. I'd love to tell you that I know what that is. George is looking at me like, what are you talking about? But there's definitely going to be something special next time. We look forward to it again. I thank you all for listening, keeping the faith. We're moving forward.
Yeah, God bless. 2024 is off to a good start.
And we'll see you soon. Or you'll hear us soon.